Retaliation for workers' comp claims in Pennsylvania. Know your rights. Getting hurt on the job is stressful enough, but when your employer punishes you for filing a workers' compensation claim, the consequences can be devastating. In Pennsylvania, the law is on your side. Workers have legal rights, and those rights include seeking compensation for a work-related injury without fear of being fired, demoted, or harassed. If you're worried about retaliation after a claim, understanding your legal protections is critical. Pennsylvania law makes it illegal for an employer to retaliate against you simply because you exercised your right to file a workers' comp claim. This protection stems from both public policy and a specific anti-retaliation statute, Title 43 PS Section 933.10. Under this law, it's not just termination that qualifies as retaliation. If you were demoted, had your hours reduced, faced increased scrutiny, or were moved to a less desirable position, these may all be signs of unlawful conduct. Courts examine the timing, treatment of other employees, and internal documentation to determine whether the employer's decision was legal or a cover for retaliation. If you've been mistreated after filing, the law gives you tools to fight back. Section C of Title 43 PS Section 933.10 even provides a rebuttable presumption of retaliation if adverse action happens within 90 days of exercising your protected rights. This shifts the burden to your employer to prove their actions weren't retaliatory. Recognizing retaliation isn't always simple. Some actions, like being fired or demoted, are obvious. But many employers try to be subtle. They might reduce your hours, assign you to night shifts you can't work, or strip away your benefits. You might find yourself micromanaged or unfairly disciplined. If the work environment becomes so toxic you feel forced to quit, the law might consider that a constructive discharge, the legal equivalent of being wrongfully fired. Any change that punishes you for asserting your rights should be taken seriously. So what can you do if this happens? If you can show you engaged in a protected activity, experienced adverse treatment, and there's a link between the two, you may have a valid retaliation claim. Even if your employer claims you were let go for other reasons, courts will examine the context. If the retaliation occurred within 90 days of your claim, the presumption is in your favor. Whether you were fired, harassed, or pressured to resign, your attorney can help you build a case. Workers' comp benefits don't automatically end just because you're fired. If you were already receiving wage loss or medical benefits at the time of your termination, the law generally requires those payments to continue. However, some employers try to challenge this by filing petitions that claim you were fired for misconduct. Whether or not your benefits continue depends on how the judge views your medical limitations, work restrictions, and the reasons for your termination. It's important to understand that filing a workers' compensation claim and suing for retaliation are two different legal paths. The claim is about getting coverage for your injury through the Bureau of Workers' Compensation. The retaliation case is a civil lawsuit you file directly against your employer. It seeks compensation for the harm caused by being punished for exercising your rights. If you win a retaliation case, you may recover lost wages, future earnings, damages for emotional distress, and in some cases, punitive damages. You may also be entitled to have your attorney's fees and legal costs covered. These remedies are designed to make you whole and deter employers from engaging in this kind of illegal behavior again. If you're facing workplace punishment after a job injury, the law gives you options. You don't have to face it alone. Reach out to a lawyer who understands Pennsylvania workers' compensation law and knows how to protect your rights. An experienced attorney can help determine if you have a retaliation claim and what steps to take next. At Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly, and George PC, we've helped countless workers in Western Pennsylvania stand up for their rights. If you believe your employer has retaliated against you after a workplace injury, call 724-658-8535 or visit our office at 315 North Mercer Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, 16101. The law firm is ready to help you take action.